Hello, my name is Bailey Thompson. Welcome to my country presentation on the country of France. The country of France is proved to be an attractive area to live, work, and vacation. France is actually the most visited country in the world with over 89 million foreign tourists in 2017. France ranks number 7 in comparison with other countries. In terms of exports, in 2017, France exported 549.9 billion, according to the World Factbook. This was an increase in comparison to 2016, where France exported 507 billion. This makes up 30.88% of total GDP in 2017. France's main export partners, you can see here in the map on the right. The countries that are darker shades of green, like the United States, you can see Germany, China. These are France's main export partners. Germany exports 14.8%, followed by Spain, Italy, the United States, Belgium, and the UK. Here is a list of the top 10 exported goods. We have industrial machinery, aircraft, motor vehicles and parts, electrical machinery, pharmaceuticals, plastics, beverages, cosmetics, precision instruments, iron, and steel. In terms of imports, France ranked 6th in comparison with the world. In 2017, France imported 601.7 billion. In 2016, it was quite significantly less, importing 507 billion. Imports make up 31.98% of GDP in 2017. France's main import partners are, just like its main export partners, Germany is 18.5% of imports, followed by Belgium, the Netherlands, Italy, Spain, UK, the United States at 5.2%, and China. Here is a list of the top 10 imported goods. We have industrial machinery, motor vehicles and parts, oil and mineral fuels, electrical machinery, plastics, aircrafts, pharmaceuticals, precision instruments, organic chemicals, iron, and steel. For natural resources in France, France actually has a limited reserve of natural resources. This was due to the Industrial Revolution. In attempts to turn environmentally more friendly, the current president of France has pledged to shut down all coal mining activities by 2021. Although there are still some coal reserves found, in addition to coal, you can also see here on this map, there is iron ore, bauxite, zinc, uranium, timber, fish, gold deposits, petroleum, iron, and steel. Even though there are a limited reserve of natural resources, France is known for its agricultural resources. Agricultural land makes up 52.7% of France's total land. 33.4% of this land is arable, 1.8% is permanent crops, and permanent pasture makes up 17.5%. FDI inflow. Despite the fact that the FDI experienced a decrease in 2017 globally, France actually attracted a significant amount of FDI in 2017. The FDI flows to France went from 35 billion in 2016 to about 50 billion in 2017, an increase by 42%. In terms of FDI inflows, France ranks 7th as a top economy. Some of the main investors include Luxembourg, the Netherlands, UK, and Switzerland. There are a few reasons why one would invest in France. Paris, the region of Paris, actually ranks the 3rd best host region for headquarters of multinationals, ranking just behind Beijing and Tokyo. The country of France ranks 31 out of 190 countries on the list of 2018 Doing Business reports published by the World Bank. Some of these factors include France being known for Europe's 3rd power, having a highly skilled workforce, significant agricultural resources, a strong cultural reputation, and geographic location in Central Europe. For FDI outflows, France in 2017 had 57.025 billion according to the World Bank. You can see here over the years, its highest point was in the early 2000s, and we have seen decreases and increases over time. In comparison with the world, France, it makes the list in the top 10. The largest country for FDI outflows is the United States, coming in at 379.22 billion, and again, France, it was 57.025 billion. Here in this graph here, map, the larger circles represent the countries that have the larger outflows. As you can see, the United States here has one of the largest circles here. For business culture of France, the French language is the national language of France, obviously, and is a huge part of their culture. The people of France prefer to speak and be spoken to in French. The use of the French language is actually mandated by law for all business and workplace activity. A couple etiquette tips when it comes to doing business in France. You should make business meetings 2 weeks in advance, introduce yourself using your first and last name, use a brisk, light handshake. It is important to learn French gestures, have one side of your business card in French, because again, the importance of the language to them. Dress to impress with quality business attire. Keep your hands on the table at lunch, avoid high-pressure sales tactics, and always be prepared for questions and interruptions. For the political system of France, despite its efforts to decentralize, France is still one of the most centralized developed countries in the world. Civil law is a legal system in France. There are 3 main political parties. These parties are the French Socialist Party, Les Republicans, and the Front National Party. The political structure is similar to the United States. There's a president. He serves a 5-year term with a maximum of 2 terms. There's a prime minister, the Council des Ministres, the French Parliament, and the Senate. France is a member of many, many, many international memberships, as you can see the large list we have right here. It has been a member of the World Trade Organization since January 1st, 1995, and has also been a member of the IMF since December 27th, 1945. Government trade policies for France. The French government supports a balanced trade policy that ensures access of French businesses to foreign markets by ensuring fair competition and reciprocity in the opening of markets. France really does seek to find a balance between openness and protection when it comes to their trade policies. The country is making efforts to raise anti-dumping duties and improve FDI monitoring. France is known to serve as an advocate for implementing sustainable development provisions by increasing social and environmental requirements in its trade agreements. In terms of tariffs, the TARIC was established in the 1958 Treaty of Rome. This stated that the European Union, which France is a part of, established the tariff system where duties are applied to imports for non-EU countries. Under this agreement, raw materials enter at a low rate or can also be duty-free, while manufactured goods experience a 5 to 17% tariff rate. It is also important to note that consumer-ready products entering the EU will face additional import charges based on the percentage of sugar, milk fat, milk protein, and starch in the product. For regional trade agreements, you can see here in the map the different colored countries. If you look at the key, the dark red countries have a trade agreement in place. There's some countries that are waiting on the trade agreement to be adopted, and there's still a couple things that need to be tweaked. The dark yellow trade agreements are being negotiated, and if you look at the key, the light blue have potential for a trade partnership. France is a member of the European Union, as I pointed out previously. The EU has trade agreements and trade negotiations being worked out with countries and regions all across the world. Currently, the agreements in focus for France include Vietnam, New Zealand, Australia, Singapore, Mexico, Mercosur, Japan, and Canada. The EU trade agreements, there's 3 different types. The first kind is custom unions. The second is association agreements, free trade agreements, and economic partnerships. And the third is partnerships and cooperation agreements. As you can see, this map here was from 2016, and one country in particular that has recently changed is Canada. They were working things out in 2016. However, in 2017, September 21st, the Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement was enacted. This is known as the CETA. The CETA boosts jobs and exports in France. France and Canada already had, some business worked out. However, the CETA will only make it easier and cheaper to continue to do this. A small French firm shared this quote that says, "The CETA will enable us to increase our competitiveness." If you look at a couple statistics down here, you can see that 9,732 of these French companies export to Canada currently. Among these, 79% are known as small and medium-sized enterprises. 77,000 jobs in France are created by this EU exports to Canada that help support these jobs. And the number of jobs in the EU that the EU exports to Canada help support is 865,000 jobs. So that's pretty cool. Here are my references, and in conclusion, it is my hope that you enjoyed my presentation and learned a little bit more about France, its trade agreements, natural resources, doing business culture, as well as the inflows and outflows of the country.